So you just got home from the hospital with your newborn baby. You might have a lot of worries on your mind. You might have a lot of questions like, how do I make sure my baby's sleeping safely at night? How do I make sure that he's playing with safe toys? How do I keep him safe from chemicals around the house? Or what's a safe way to give my baby a bath? Well, stay tuned because we've got answers to all these questions coming up next.
Talk about crib safety. It's in our pamphlet. Before I talk about crib safety, I have to mention SIDS. It's the sudden infant death syndrome. It's an unexplained death of a baby younger than 1 year old. It's associated with sleeping, so they also call it the crib death. So I'm gonna talk about some ways to reduce the risk of SIDS and prevent like suffocation and other problems. So first, make sure to always place your baby either on his or her back in the crib. Make sure the mattress is firm, tight fitted. Try not to use pillows, quilts, comforters, sheepskin, or pillow-like stuffed animals in the crib. If you use, it's better to use a sleeper instead of blanket. But if you do decide to use a blanket, make sure to place the baby within a foot of the crib. Cover your baby as high as his or her chest to prevent suffocation. Make sure you use a fitted bottom sheet. So now crib safety. Like I said, make sure you have a firm, tight, fitted mattress so the baby cannot get trapped between the mattress and the crib. Make sure there's no missing, loose, or broken screws. Make sure the slats aren't missing, they aren't cracked. Make sure the baby doesn't fit through the slats. We don't want him to fall out or get his head stuck. The corner post cannot be over 1/16 of an inch higher, so the baby's clothing cannot get caught. If you use mesh side cribs or playpens, make sure the mesh is less than 1/4 of an inch, so that's about as small as a tiny button on the baby's clothing. Make sure there's no tears, holes, loose threads, anything that maybe the baby can get caught in. Make sure the mesh is securely attached to the top rail and the floor panel. The top rail make sure the top rail is covered with no tears and no holes. If you use staples, they're not recommended, but if you use staples, try not to make sure there's none missing or loose or exposed where the baby can get injured. They might think it's candy or something like that.
My name is Selena, and I'm going to be teaching you about some tips for home safety for your newborn, specifically talking about toy safety and pacifiers. So when you go to the store, and like your local store, H-E-B, Walmart, or Target, and you're you're going to go buy a toy for your newborn, you want to make sure you buy something that's age appropriate for them. So many times on the toys, they have on the corner of them, they have the age requirements for that toy, and it says 0 months plus or 0 to 3 months, which is appropriate for your newborn baby. So I have a little example with me. I have this oval shaker, and as you can tell on this corner of the packaging, it says 0 months plus. So it is definitely appropriate for your newborn. When you choose a toy, you want to make sure you're choosing something that's strong, something that can withstand chewing or sucking, because sometimes the pieces with wear and tear can fall off, and it might fall off while the baby's playing with it, and they could swallow a piece and cause difficulty breathing, and we definitely do not want that to happen. So just give it a little test. As you can tell with this one, there's no way I can get this apart or take this apart. So obviously a newborn wouldn't be able to do it as well, or either. On the back of most of the toys, they have cleaning instructions of how to clean it. This one's pretty simple. It just says clean before use with a damp cloth and mild soap. So you want to be able to do that, just because if most of these toys are going in their mouth, and you do not want to cause any infection or make your baby sick. So just remember that you're meeting the age requirements on the toy and you're choosing something strong. Also something without any barbels or loose balls or loose toy coins in them. Alright, moving along to pacifiers. These are very popular for newborns just because they like to be sucking on something. So if it feels that need for the baby. They also have these age requirements, 0+ months on them. And like I said, you want to make sure you just had your baby, you're using something that says 0+ months. The older they get, the bigger the nipple gets when you're buying them. So you just want to make sure you're buying something appropriate for the baby. This one on the back also has cleaning instructions as well. And you want to make sure that you buy something that just doesn't have a string along it. Sometimes when you go on the internet and you're trying to find something handy, you see these pacifiers that have strings around them so you can put them around the baby's neck, or you go home and you think, oh, that's super handy, I'm gonna do it. Well, that's actually very, very hazardous because it is going around the baby's neck, and they could potentially strangle themselves, with that string around their neck. So always make sure that they don't have any strings, that their toys don't have any strings. You're always keeping an eye out for those, for that safety tip right there. With pacifiers, since they do have the little nipple, you want to make sure to always regularly check the wear and tear of it, because throughout time, obviously they're sucking on them, or whenever they start teething, they're going to be biting on them, and they could potentially, tear off these pieces and swallow them. So you want to make sure that if it's looking a little rough, you just go buy another one, and also check that it's age appropriate for your baby. So just make sure that you're following these safety guidelines so you can have a very, very safe home for your baby.
I'm going to be talking with you about things to do before you bring your baby home. Okay, ways to prepare your home for your newborn baby. First and foremost, you're going to want to look at your crib. You're going to want to check the safety. You're going to want to inspect all working and moving parts and make sure it is safe to house a baby in. Second, inside that crib, you're going to want to go ahead and remove any kind of blankets, pillows, stuffed animals, because those are all considered choking hazards to a newborn baby. We need to put their safety first. Next, we're going to want to check all smoke detectors. Go through your home, check them all, make sure they're all in working condition. And if not, let's go ahead and get those fixed. And if you can't, then let's contact the proper services so they can assist you with that. You're going to want to make sure you have handrails installed throughout your house. Those are great for fall risk prevention. That's going to keep you and your baby safe. This is all about promoting safety in your home while having a newborn baby. Next, I'm going to talk to you about a few phone numbers and a few different services that you can contact. We have emergency services. That's going to be contacting 911. So any kind of major emergencies you may have, do not hesitate to call 911. They will assist you in any emergency crisis, in any emergency. Next, we have poison control. They can be reached at 1-800-222-122. You're going to want to put both of those phone numbers by any phone that you have in the house, and you're going to want to be able to put those in the mainstay rooms where your baby will be staying the most. Those need to be posted the way I have them posted here. Next, I have a service that many of you parents might find helpful. This is the United States Consumer Product Information Safety Commission. They can be reached at 800-638-2772, or you can go to their website. You search them on the internet. They're going to give you information regarding recalls, regarding safety of any consumer products you may have bought for your child. That way you can make sure you are buying only the safest products for your child.
So here's some other home safety tips that you could use for your newborn baby. Bathing. When bathing your baby, you want to make sure that you use a slip-resistant bathtub. These infant bathtubs are specially designed for your baby's safety. The next step you want to do is run baby's water. Making sure to turn the faucets on and checking the temperature of the water. You can run that water and put it in that bathtub and scald that newborn. That's something that we do not want to do. So you want to be sure to check your baby's temperature, making sure that it's just right for the newborn. You can either check with your hands or your elbow. Once it's at the desired temperature of water, you can now put it in the newborn baby's bathtub. Fill the baby's bathtub up. We want to make sure that we note this fill line in the baby's bathtub. This fill line is very important. You want to make sure that you fill this bathtub up just to that level. This is important for babies' risk for drowning. Okay, so now that we have baby's water at the desired temperature and the desired height, it is now time for you to bathe your baby. And we are going to use soap, so keep in mind to use soap that is tear-free and to always remain by your baby's side while taking that baby a bath. Babies have drowned while using infant's bathtub, so you want to make sure to stay in arm's reach of your baby and never lift or carry your baby while in the bathtub.
So I hope these simple videos helped you to have a little more confidence in how to safely raise your newborn baby.
The more you know.